Hello. This is the second of the list videos for Operation Aldershot. And again, I'm sorry about the first one. I'll try to be less competitive for this one, I guess. So the concept here is I go through 4 of the lists for Operation Aldershot, and then I sort of talk about some of them and maybe give some feedback, hopefully less than I usually do. That was my intention anyway. We'll see how it goes. Last time I ended up ranting about LMGs and big tanks. So that's how it goes. Let's share because I think that this format worked okay. Right, here we go. Here we have it. The first one that we're going to do is another Soviet list. Again, it's a CeeLo Heights list. Already we can tell that this player maybe is a bit more competitive than some of the other players who've made some of the other lists. It's a 14 order dice list, which is bang on where I want to be with most of my lists, and it's 1,050 points, so he's spent every point as. Again, very, very good. The lieutenant is inexperienced. He's paying the tax, 35 points, just like most competitive players do. If you want to see what the competitive meta right now is on a global scale for bolt action, go and watch my video on the WTC meta. This is what most of the competitive players do, including myself. And then we have the guard squads, 2 of those. I really like these squads. They're pretty big. They're 9-man units, and 5 of them have submachine guns, and 1 of them has a Panzerfaust. So they're really threatening, really big. 9 men is a good place to be with a regular unit. I would even say you could go 10. And I also like the spread of 4 rifles and 5 submachine guns. It means that you can deliver pins at long range, and then you are a threat, a real threat, both in short range and in the assault. You can really pump out some damage with these units. So for 110 points, these are definitely good and offensive units. Then we see 2 Strafbat units, very, very cheap backline holders. They're just there to be bodies on objectives, basically. And they're quite big. We have 5 with rifles and 7 unarmed infantry. I don't think you need them to be this big, but since you're only paying 27 points for that many bodies, that it's really really strong choices. 2 of those, 3 of those, I guess. Yes. 4? Is that 4? I can't really tell in this format if it may actually be 4 units of Strafbat. I'll just do a count just to make sure. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. It is 4 units of Strafbat. Really strong choice here. These shirkers will do wonders. Yes, they're not very good. They will die pretty easily, but that is a lot of bodies. That is almost a horde army style list. Then a free rifle squad. Again, we know them, we love them. Sniper, regular. That's perfectly fine. It won't win the sniper duels, but in this list, it's not designed to, and the sniper will find sometimes that the infantry gets in the way, so why buy the expensive one, right? Then we have the inexperienced heavy mortar. Really like this. It's pretty cheap and it's very deadly. 2 of those, so very, very good. It's the thing, right, with CeeLo, you can put a lot of arty and a lot of tanks into the CeeLo Heights lists. So it's really, really good. Heavy howitzer. I would have bought a spotter for this if you had the points and could find it. It's just, it makes it better. And right now it is pretty vulnerable to getting pinned. It does have a gun shield and it is regular, so it can survive quite a lot, but it's 115 points and it is pin vulnerable. Especially with all these LMGs that we saw in the first 4 lists, it could be a problem. So I would have bought a spot of this. T34, when we're in, I mean, the thing that Johnny wanted for this tournament was for people to relook at their lists and maybe like bring something wacky and unusual. Of course, the common wisdom is to bring a steward, but the T34 for a medium tank is not actually that bad. It's a 9+ medium anti-tank gun, and it is below 200 points, so that is always good. It's again one of those medium tanks where you want it to be center table, you want it to dominate, unless you're facing off against one of the heavy tanks from last time. Then of course you don't want it to be anywhere near where the heavy tank can shoot its heavy anti-tank guns. So the T34 is kind of one of the better choices of medium tanks in my eyes, and he has 2 of those. One though is the upgraded one with the heavy anti-tank gun, which is not worth it. You could have bought something that was more anti-tanky with those points. I mean, I would have saved those 40 points and bought some scouts with Panzerfausts or something like that. This is it's just, it's a point sink, right? 235 points is too much for a tank, but this list does bring 2 medium tanks to the table, and one of them even has a heavy anti-tank gun. That is a lot of tank power that it's bringing. So an interesting experiment. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this goes. Of course, Silo Heights is a very strong selector. The choices here are not optimized for the meta, but they are really strong, and I do like the idea of bringing 2 medium tanks to a fight. So I want to know how this one does. I'm really, really interested. This could be a thing, or it could not. Let's see. Right. That was the first one. Then we have an American one here, the Bloody Gulch. A 12 order dice list, so a bit low on order dice, 1,048 points. So a few points that he didn't know what to do with. That will happen sometimes. Lieutenant with extra men. I would even have bought 1 more, I think, since you can in these restrictions. Regular infantry with bars, 2 BARs. Yes, yes, yes. This is good. This is what we're seeing in the competitive meta as well. This is American regulars with BARs are really good skirmishers. The best in the game because they can move and fire. 2 of those here, and does he have? Yes, he has more down here. So 5 units of infantry with rifles and BARs, and like these top 2 ones are 5-man units, but the rest are even 7-man units. So really strong choices. Really, there's a lot of shots coming out of that many units. They are going to be able to deliver a lot of pins. A forward air observer with an extra dude. Normally, I would say forward air observers are not worth it simply because you can hit yourself. But for Americans, they become more worth it. And if you're lucky with the dice, because you can shoot twice with an American air observer. So that is really a strong and interesting choice as well, if they hit. And then 2 Shermans, again with the medium tanks, 9+, thin sides, easily catches fire, but 9+. They're a bit cheaper than the T34s we looked at last time. So 185 points for a medium anti-tank gun with 9+, which makes the Shermans a better competitive choice because you pay less points for them. And having 2 tanks, if you're going to go medium tanks, I think you really need to bet on your armor, because 1 is easily killed by a Panzerfaust. You need to dominate the center table. So this is a trend we're seeing in this Aldershot tournament, that a lot of people are bringing heavy or medium tanks. And to Dutch trucks with MMGs, I don't think that these are really needed, but they can transport the infantry up. But with BARs, you can just as well just run them up into the center table where the BAR will have range to the whole enemy army and just start delivering pins. I don't think you need the Dutch trucks for that, but the Dutch trucks have pintle-mounted MMGs, which means that they are perfectly suited machine gun nests. And look what it costs to have a mobile machine gun. 46 points. That is why you never ever buy medium machine gun teams, because they cost 50 points regular. So you can get a truck which is more survivable than a regular unit. I'm saying this, they're more survivable, because even if they're hit, you need a 6 to damage it. And even if they get that damage through, you might still survive. You might get a 1 and be crew stunned, right? So they are more survivable than infantry. They're not vulnerable to snipers, and they are mobile. Damn, these are so much better. Use these Dutch trucks as backline machine gun teams and deliver pins with the rest of your army. Perfectly fine. A Jeep, not really needed in this list at all. I guess it's for the lieutenant or for the air observer. I don't think you really need that Jeep, but it's nice to have that extra order dice, isn't it? So really interesting lists. Looking forward to hearing how it goes with all these medium tanks. Very interesting meta, right? For this tournament. Now, here we come to my jam. A British tank platoon. And ooh, I remember this one. I briefly glanced over the lists and I remember this one. It's a 15 order dice list. It's 1,049 points, and it has stewards. It has 3 darker stewards with the LMGs. Of course, they don't have recce. You can't get that with Brits, but they do have the command vehicle special rule and the +2. So they're very likely to do what you want them to do, simply because they have that much morale. They go up too, right, because of radio networks. So it's really, really strong, and it's a lot of shots. It's an insane amount of shots coming out of this. And I recognize this because I've played lists just like this. Then it has 2 really strong choices again. LRDG, armed trucks, 6+ recce, which has 3 medium machine guns, 50 points for each. So very, very cheap. Again, remember what I said before about MMG infantry teams. 50 points for one of those. This one is a regular recce truck with 3 medium machine guns for 50 points. Something is off kilter with the points values in this game. Definitely. So yeah, these trucks are really strong choices. They're very deadly and they can deliver a lot of pins. And because you can split fire them, this list is actually, because you can also split fire every single one of the stewards, it's a really strong list. Really strong. And it becomes even stronger if you look at the infantry, because he's bringing Gurkha paratroopers. Gurkha paratroopers are the best close combat troops in the game. They are better than Polish Lancers. That is my claim. One of the unit is an 8-man unit. That is how I would run them. And then we have 2 6-man paratrooper units as well. Not as good. The 8-man unit is what is going to be the main unit for assaulting. So what this list does is it pins down the enemy using all the machine gun shots here, and then it throws up the Gurkhas into close combat, where they will be excellent. I think the two smaller units will have 1 or 2 charges in them. The big one will have 2 or 3 charges in it, just before they become ineffective and lose too many men. And the player who is bringing this list has even brought up an atom, which ensures that the charges will always go off. You could also think about running Vengeance with a list like this, because Vengeance, you remove pins, right? And that will affect not only the Gurkhas, but also all your armor. So you could have Vengeance removing pins from your armor, which might be a good idea. Then he buys the obligatory second lieutenant, because in this rule set, you have to have a lieutenant in the tank platoon. You get the free forward observer. This is key, I find, to running Darker Stuarts and Gurkhas, because the observer will deliver the pins that will allow the Gurkhas to move up and charge. A boys anti-tank rifle team. I don't necessarily think you need this, but it's nice to have. A light howitzer. I don't think you need this, but it's nice to have. And a 3-ton, 2 3-ton trucks, because in tank platoons, you need everything to be able to be transported, right? So you need everyone to be able to get in a transport. The utility car, I think, should have been a Jeep, because I don't think the utility car can actually transport the thing that it needs to transport, the light artillery, but a Jeep can. So that is the list. This is one of the stronger lists, 15 order dice. This is one of the very strong lists I've seen so far, along with some of the CeeLo height ones, because it has so much threat potential. Its main weakness is that it only has 3 units of infantry, and they are pretty weak. So if I was fighting this, I would make sure to kill 1 or 2 Gurkhas in each unit. After that, they become ineffective. They are not going to charge you. And then you have to deal with all the armor, of course. But if you're bringing medium tanks, which I noticed a lot of people are, then this armor will struggle. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it does. I think the potential for a winning list is there. But with that much medium armor, I think it can also fail horribly. So good luck. And let's talk about the final list for this video, which is another German. A 16 order dice, 1050 points German list, SS Panzer. This is the 12th SS Panzer, and this is a theater platoon. And it has some interesting special rules that makes the panzers very interesting and very, very wacky. So he's bringing a second lieutenant with an extra dude, regular, perfectly fine. I think I would even opt this again to maybe a 4-man unit, just because it will help with the special rules that this unit has. They have fanatics and blind obedience and all of that. So yeah. And then, of course, he is bringing all the SS Panzer units, a lot of them. And he upgrades some of them with Panzerfausts and SMGs, which I like. Some of them have light machine guns, which I don't like, but, well, it seems to be a thing in this meta. I especially don't understand why you have 2 Panzerfausts in a unit that has a light machine gun, because the light machine gun says that you're going to stay on the back line. The Panzerfausts say you're going to be pushing up. I don't get this. So I would cut out the Panzerfaust in this unit if you want it to be on the back lines. But what I'm saying here is, most of the time you do not want your 12th SS Hitlerjugend to be on the back lines. You want them to push up. So submachine guns is way better if you're going to upgrade anything here. And the unit size, they also vary quite a bit. So you're going to really know your units, which I don't like. I would have made them similar so that every unit was basically the same. But I do understand the allure of having like different units, because it's more realistic, right? Especially late war, these 12th SS former Hitlerjugend guys, they were like different ragtag bunch of men like pushed together for the final defense of Germany, right? So yeah, but the sizes do vary quite a lot. We have a 5-man unit here. We have a 5-man unit. No, a 3-man unit here. We have a 4-man unit here, and a 4-man unit here, and a 4-man here. I mean, they're very small, aren't they? I think I would have made them bigger, most of them, just because that helps with the special rules. Medium machine gun team, inexperienced, not worth the points, but I like that you bought it inexperienced. Medium mortar, definitely worth the points. Panzerschreck, too expensive. If you look at a Panzerschreck and look at what an American bazooka can do, the Panzerschreck is just too expensive. You're buying 2 of those. They will come in handy though in this matter with that many tanks. I mean, look at the list we had before, the British Darker Steward list there. The Panzerschrecks will be really dangerous for that one. So it will, tactically, they are really good. Points for value, they're not that good, simply because the Americans get them for cheaper points. Veteran Sniper, I like it, because that will win you the sniper duels. And then a 222. Oh, I love myself some 222. Oh, the only thing that I really dislike about it is that it's open-topped, but it does have recce. It has the light autocannon, which is really good, especially against light tanks. Go up into the side of those stewards and shoot. They will die. The light howitzer. I don't think you need to buy this veteran, but it does make it more survivable since it has the gun shield. And it isn't that much of a point investment, so maybe. The Vespi, I had to look this one up because I've never seen one used in a competitive setting. It is pretty good for the points, right? But it is open-topped, and yeah, it has a medium howitzer. So it's a bit like what we saw before with the mobile howitzers. It's again one of those. It has a crew carried MMG, which is fine, I guess. You're not going to fire that MMG that often. You're going to fire the howitzer most of the time. The thing is with these mobile artillery pieces that they are very vulnerable to being pinned, and the Vespi is as well. And then a few trucks. I don't think you actually need these trucks, but they're pretty nice to just throw in a lot of the, maybe a Panzerschreck team, some of the Hitlerjugend, and then just move them into the center table when you want to push. Now, what makes this list is the special rules. The Angriff special rule, it means that if you fail an order test, then instead of going down, you run towards the nearest enemy unit and charge them if you can. So that's pretty interesting. The units also get fanatics, which is also interesting. So there's a lot of special, even the suicidal fanaticism, which makes it so that they are easier to kill, but makes it also so that they are very, very cheap. So I mean, there's a lot of wacky special rules, and that in itself will maybe get this list some victories because people don't know how to deal with it. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this goes. I think you could have cut down on the number of order dice here in this list, simply to beef up some of the infantry, because that infantry will get to push up into the center table, and they will get to fight in close combat, and they are inexperienced, so they are dying on 2s because of that suicidal fanaticism special rule. So they will die, quite a lot of them. I think you should have made the units a bit bigger, but that is my one recommendation for this. Let's see how it goes. Please get back to me and tell me how this went. I'm really interested to see how this theatre list did. It's one of the ones that I've been watching for quite a lot. So, yeah, that was the next 4 lists for Operation Aldershot. Good luck to all the players, and really interesting lists to go through. I hope you enjoyed it. I did as well. I'll get back to you with the final half of the lists. This was actually the first half of the list. So, bye.